Alright guys, this short little video I'm putting together on pulling a turbocharger off of an OBS 7.3 truck. This is a 96 model, and I wanted to make a video kind of showing what tools I use to get this turbo off. That makes it a lot easier, I think, and kind of a little different method of getting the turbocharger out without the pedestal. It's basically leaving the pedestal in, taking it out after the turbo comes out. If that makes any sense, I'll try to show you what I'm talking about here briefly. Alright, so basically what I'm doing with this truck is I'm doing an e-fuel conversion. As you can see, there's no fuel pump, no fuel bowl in here. All that's been removed, and I am converting it over to electric fuel system. So I decided I was going to do the exhaust back pressure valve mod on this turbo, which for those of you that are familiar is this little device right here that they love to put on there. I got to gut this, put it back on there. Well, at the same time, when you do that, I wanted to also remove, plug off, and weld up a hole on the turbo pedestal to eliminate whatever, just you're doing away with the system, eliminate any future leaks from the back pressure valve solenoid that's built into the pedestal. So I said, well, off comes the turbocharger. So my video is kind of quick and rudimentary, but I'm going to try to show you what tools I used to get this turbo off. It's kind of a pain, but I'll do the best I can. All right, the flange bolts for the forward flange bolts, which are, let me get my light. You got 4 flange bolts. 1, 2, 3. There's one down low. As you can see, it's actually a stud with a nut, and another stud with a nut down here on the bottom side of the driver's side. All right, so I wanted those to come out first. So I was like, all right. Of course, the top 2 are easy. You can get an impact and get right in there with a long extension and zip those out. I didn't have any problem with those. The bottom ones are a different story, obviously, because they are tucked in there and they're real close to the body of the turbo, and there's no room. So the best way to get this one off is this little device right here. It's called a crow's foot wrench. You put that on there, 15 mil, put that long 1/2 inch extension in there, and hook it up to, let me show you what I used to get all those bolts out. It's a 1/2 inch drive Milwaukee electric impact. It's a bad little dude. It's got some ass, but I imagine a good 3/8 impact would do the trick also. A good quality one, like a Snap-on or something that's got some good power to it. All right, so that's how I got that side out. All right, the driver's side bolt, lower bolt on the flange. I'm trying best I can with my light here. Y'all forgive me. It's winter time and it's almost dark. You can see it kind of peeking down there. All right, the way I got it out was, let me show you this dude. What I call where'd it go? A universal socket. It's right here somewhere. Oh, it's right here, still on the extension. It's a 15 millimeter universal socket. So it's like a swivel built into a socket. And there's a whole set of them right there, right? Nothing real expensive. There's also the set of the crow's foot. You can get the metric. So that's all this is. On the end of an extension, you stick that down in there, and you can just get on it at an angle. And I just bumped it. You can see I got a 1/2 inch adapter on here. I just bumped it with that impact. Bump, 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 and it zipped right off. Now, you do want to soak those flange bolts. Let them soak for a while. Mine didn't soak all night, but they did I don't know, a few hours, and they came out, no problems. All right, now here is what else I did that was probably different than what I've seen a lot of people, or what I saw online or on the forums, different. I saw this in one place, so I decided I'd try it. Well, being that my fuel pump right here is out, and the fuel bowl's out, but mainly the fuel pump and those lines, the banjo bolt lines are coming out too, but I got them just pushed down. I decided you've got 4 bolts that come up from the bottom of the pedestal up into the bottom of this part of the housing. See, there's the bottom, there's the top of one of them right there. So they're 10mm bolts, they're real long. Let me show you one of them here. 4 10mm bolts, and they come up like this through the pedestal. All right, so I squirted a little bit of jizz in there, some WD-40, in all the ones I could see, and the ones I couldn't see. You can't really see the ones in the back, so I just sprayed a bunch of WD-40 up here and let it run down the back of this housing, and I figured, heck, it'd get a little in there. So at that point, being that I had all this room down here under the pedestal, I just got under there with some regular old ratchets. You know, because the room is kind of restricted and it takes a little bit of work. I used a 3/8 drive with a 10, a regular 1/4" drive with a 10, and a 10mm ratchet wrench. So, and I was able to work all 4 of those bolts up. When you do that, it allows you, obviously, you know, you got your downpipe out the way. I cut mine out because I'm replacing it with an aftermarket, but I'm sure even with the factory downpipe, you just undo the clamp, move it over as much as you can, remove the intake tube, that's nothing. But once you get that out, forgive my filming here, I'm trying to do this one-handed, the turbo will come right out. Let me get it up here where we can look at it. So there it is. All right, let me flip it over here. Again, forgive my filming. All right, so there's your 4 bolt holes that come through the pedestal. 4 of these bolts screw in through the pedestal and into the bottom of the turbo. Those are the ones I removed. Let's see, it's just a regular 10mm bolt. There's 4 of them. There's your 2 O-rings, your pedestal O-rings that you need to change, even if they're not leaking. In my case, they're not leaking. But if you're in there, you're crazy not to change them. And use the proper O-rings. They can be had on the internet for a reasonable price. Just look up pedestal O-rings. Here's the pedestal itself. Now, this is where it's good. When you pull it this way, you've got access, obviously, easily to the front 2 bolts, as you did before. But the back 2 bolts, it makes it quite a bit easier to get to them too. And then the whole pedestal comes out. Again, the reason I'm pulling the turbo all together is to remove this rod and this little solenoid oil actuated solenoid system for the exhaust back pressure valve. I want to get that all out of there. There's no possibility. You can see it's been leaking. It's 20 years old.